Hey there. Did you know this story starts way back, even before Brazil was a country? There was a super smart and famous family called the Abravanels. They lived in Portugal and Spain and were really important. One of them, Dom Isaac Abravanel, was like a superhero of his time. He was a rabbi, a very wise teacher, a writer, and even helped kings manage their money. He was so brilliant that even when times were tough, kings trusted him to save their finances. Cool, right? Now, fast forward a lot of years, and one of his relatives, Alberto Abravanel, decided to leave Europe and start a new life in Brazil. Imagine packing up your whole life to move to a place you've never been before. When Alberto arrived in Rio de Janeiro, he didn't waste any time. He worked hard, married Rebecca, and they had 6 kids. Their oldest son, Senor Abravanel, would grow up to become someone truly extraordinary, the one and only Silvio Santos. Pretty amazing beginning, huh? Let me know if you're ready to dive into the next part of the story. A clever kid in Rio de Janeiro. Okay, so now we're in Rio de Janeiro. Picture this, little Silvio Santos, born on December 12, 1930, in a buzzing city by the beach. The streets were full of life, with vendors shouting out prices, music playing, and people bustling about. Silvio's dad, Alberto, ran a small shop selling souvenirs and trinkets to tourists who came to visit the famous city. For a while, life was good. But then, something went wrong. Alberto developed a gambling problem, and little by little, he lost all the family's money. The shop was gone, and the family was in trouble. But here comes the exciting part. Silvio, just 14 years old, didn't sit around feeling sorry for himself. No way. Instead, he decided to step up and help his family. Can you imagine that? A teenager deciding to become the family's hero. He started thinking, what can I do? How can I make money? Silvio watched the street vendors, known as camelos, selling their goods on the busy sidewalks. He noticed how they interacted with people, how they made sales, and thought, hey, I can do that too. His first big idea. Selling plastic covers for voter IDs. Why? Because there was an election coming up, and everyone wanted to protect their ID cards. It was a genius move. People loved his idea and bought the covers like crazy. Silvio's business was booming, and he started earning money to help his family. But Silvio didn't stop there. He wanted to stand out from the other vendors. So, he taught himself some cool magic tricks with coins and cards to grab people's attention. It worked. Crowds gathered to watch him perform, and his sales skyrocketed. Soon, Silvio wasn't just selling ID covers, he was selling pens, small gadgets, and anything else people might want. How's that for a start? Ready for the next exciting chapter? Let's go. From the streets to the radio. Alright, here's where things get even more interesting. Imagine this, young Silvio is out on the streets, dazzling people with his magic tricks and charming smile. One day, he's caught by city inspectors who are cracking down on street vendors. They wanted to shut him down. But instead of running away or getting upset, Silvio did something incredible, he talked his way out of it. His words were so impressive that one of the inspectors, Renato Miralima, saw something special in him. Kid, you've got a real gift for talking, Renato said. Why don't you try out for a radio job? Silvio had never thought about working in radio before, but the idea stuck with him. He decided to give it a shot. He entered a big competition to become a radio announcer. There were hundreds of people trying out, including some big names like Chico Anigio, who would later become a famous comedian. But guess what? Silvio won. Can you believe it? Out of all those people, his voice, charm, and confidence stood out the most. He got his first job on the radio, where he made announcements and entertained listeners. But here's the twist, the pay wasn't great. Silvio, ever the entrepreneur, didn't let that stop him. He kept working on side hustles to make more money. One of his most creative ideas was putting music on ferries that crossed the bay and selling ads during the rides. Passengers loved it, and Silvio's idea turned into a thriving business. Have you subscribed yet to follow Silvio's story and discover more incredible journeys like his? If not, take a moment to check your subscription now. We promise to keep inspiring you and help solve your biggest challenges with stories that truly make a difference. Stay tuned, the next part of Silvio's story is going to blow your mind. The Bout de Felicidade adventure, the chest of happiness. Now, picture this, Silvio was already a rising star, juggling his radio job and his ferry business, when his friend Manuel de Nobrega came to him with a big problem. Manuel had started a business called Bout de Felicidade, the chest of happiness. The idea was simple but brilliant. Families could pay a little bit every month, and at Christmas, they'd receive a box filled with toys and goodies. But, oh no, Manuel's business partner ran off with the money, leaving the company in ruins. Customers were angry, and Manuel didn't know what to do. That's when Silvio stepped in. He said, "Let me help." At first, he simply returned the money to upset customers. But as he worked, an idea started forming in his mind. Wait a second, he thought. This could actually work if we did it the right way. Silvio took over the Bout de Felicidade and completely transformed it. Instead of delivering pre-packaged boxes, he introduced catalogs where families could pick out the toys and items they wanted. This gave customers more choice and made the business even more popular. People loved it, and the company grew and grew. Eventually, Manuel said, "Silvio, you've done so much. The business is yours now." And just like that, Silvio became the owner of Bout de Felicidade. It wasn't just a business anymore, it was a phenomenon that brought joy to families all over Brazil. Television beckons, Silvio's first steps into TV. By the late 1950s, Silvio Santos had become a household name in Brazil. He was running the Bout de Felicidade like a well-oiled machine and was still a rising star on the radio. But Silvio had a vision. He knew television was the next big thing. He thought, if radio can reach hundreds of people, TV can reach thousands, or even millions. Silvio didn't just want to be on TV, he wanted to create something unforgettable. So, he rented 30 minutes of airtime on TV Paulista, a small station. In his slot, Silvio created a fun and interactive game show where participants could win prizes. Of course, he also used the show to promote Bout de Felicidade. The show was an instant hit. Silvio's cheerful personality and natural charm won over viewers, and his time slot quickly expanded. By the 1960s, Silvio was hosting a 2-hour show every Sunday. And by the end of the decade, his show had grown to an incredible 8 hours every Sunday. Can you imagine? A full day of Silvio Santos entertaining people across Brazil. But Silvio wasn't just entertaining, he was inspiring. His shows were about more than just games and prizes, they were about hope, dreams, and showing people that anything was possible. And Silvio wasn't done yet. He had even bigger plans for the future. The birth of SBT, a television revolution. Now let's fast forward to the 1980s. Silvio Santos was already a huge star, but he didn't want to stop at hosting shows. He wanted to own an entire TV network. His dream was to create a station that brought joy, entertainment, and opportunities to people from all walks of life. In 1981, Silvio got his chance. The Brazilian government granted him the rights to launch his own television network. And just like that, Sistema Brasileiro de Televisão, SBT, was born. It was a dream come true for Silvio, but it was also a huge challenge. Building a TV network from scratch wasn't easy, but Silvio was ready. SBT became known for its fun, family-friendly shows. Silvio brought international hits like The Clown Bozo and the Mexican novela Carousel to Brazilian audiences. He also created iconic game shows like Show do Morreo and Roda a Roda, where everyday people could win life-changing prizes. Silvio's secret. He knew what people wanted. His shows were designed to make people laugh, dream, and believe that anything was possible. And they loved him for it. SBT quickly became one of the most popular TV networks in Brazil, solidifying Silvio Santos as the king of Brazilian television. Entrepreneurial empire, beyond television. While Silvio Santos was conquering the world of television, he was also building an incredible business empire. His ventures were as diverse as his talents. From financial institutions to cosmetics, Silvio proved that he could succeed in almost any industry. One of his biggest successes was Jequiti Cosméticos, a cosmetics company aimed at Brazil's growing middle class. Silvio knew that personal care products were a booming market, and he tapped into it with his signature flair. Jequiti became a household name, with its sales boosted by creative promotions on SBT, including the famous Roda a Roda Jequiti game show. Another significant part of his empire was Banco Pan-Americano. Silvio expanded the bank's operations, focusing on consumer credit and catering to everyday Brazilians. While the bank faced challenges later, Silvio's ability to navigate crises showed his resilience and determination. Silvio also dabbled in real estate, agriculture, and even entertainment complexes. His vision was always the same: create opportunities, bring happiness, and make dreams come true. Silvio's later years and legacy. As Silvio grew older, he became not just a media mogul but a cultural icon in Brazil. Even in his 80s, he remained a vibrant TV host, entertaining millions every Sunday with his charm and humor. He became a symbol of resilience, humility, and the power of dreams. In 2024, Silvio Santos passed away at the age of 93, leaving behind an unmatched legacy. His story, from a street vendor to one of the most influential figures in Brazilian media, continues to inspire generations. His family, including his 6 daughters, carries on his vision through the businesses he built and the joy he brought to millions. Your turn to keep the dream alive. Silvio Santos' story is proof that no matter where you start, with creativity, hard work, and determination, you can achieve greatness. What about you? What's your dream? Take that first step today, big or small, and see where it leads you. If you were inspired by this story, don't keep it to yourself. Hit the like button, subscribe to stay updated on more incredible stories, and share this video with your friends and family. Together, let's keep the spirit of dreaming big alive.